Hi everyone. So we are here again back with another round of conversation with our very known author Rajesh Talwar sir. Hi sir, welcome to the session.
Hi, Tanmeen. I've been trying to convince you just to call me Rajesh
Oh,
or Rajesh Talwar, but no
okay.
problem. I know it's just
It's out
uh,
of courtesy, and that comes out.
sure,
But
sure,
sure, I would
sure.
like to do that. Okay. So yes, Rajesh, welcome to the show. So how are you this morning?
I'm very well. It's been a very nice morning actually here for a change. Otherwise, it's quite humid. You know, this part of the year gets quite humid. But today is very nice. हवा चल रही है. It's pleasant.
Wow.
Not as pleasant as where you are, because I think
Daman.
you are in an island, so can't compare with that. But still, it's good enough.
Wow, that's really nice. So, viewers, hope you are also enjoying the same weather. Everywhere rainfall is there. Be safe with eye infections and eye flu. So, today, here we are about to discuss another book which is launched recently, that is Trading Flesh in Tokyo, nine short stories and a play. So, here is the book in front of me, and the book is available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle format. You can go and grab your copies from there. So before going further, talking about the book, what is the book all about and what does it tell about those nine stories which are there in that, and few we will discuss with Rajesh. So yes, before going further, Rajesh, please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Thanks, Tanmeen. Well, basically, uh, I have a legal background. I used to be a lawyer for many years. And while practicing law, I also taught at Delhi University in Jamia Millia for a few years. And then I went for a further studies for a master's to Nottingham uh, to do a master's in human rights law. And soon after that, I joined the United Nations, where I worked in many countries, three different continents, are doing different kinds of jobs. But all along, my writing has continued. So I have written about 37 books. And this is actually my 37th book, but it's my first collection of short stories.
Yes,
So I've written in different genres, but first collection of short stories.
that's congratulations to you for that. So let me tell the
Thank
viewers
you.
that Trading in Flesh in Tokyo is a collection of nine delightful short stories and a play. The stories deal with love, poverty, crime, passion, and various troubling social issues. The characters in the play are powerful, non humans who are familiar to all of us. So, there are various short stories in detailed on Amazon. You'll find the blurb. Each and every topic is covered in the blurb with a short, description of what the stories are all about. For that, you'll have to grab your copies. Here, we are just going to give you the gist and not open all the things which are there in the story. So, before going to that, tell the viewers, Rajesh, how did you thought that you should come up with short stories and a collection of a small play? As such, it is your 37 book. I know you might be having a lot of stories, not just nine short stories, still many in your mind to come up and share with us. So how this theme came in your mind, this genre came in your mind?
Well, Tanmeen, I always like to stretch myself and do things differently. So I realized that I haven't done a collection of short stories, but then I thought, how can I do a collection of short stories which is also different? And then I thought I have been lucky enough while working in the United Nations to travel to so many different countries. I was planning at one point of time to visit each and every country in Asia, but then Corona happened and I couldn't do that. Uh, and now, because my mother is unwell, I cannot travel so much.
Oh,
So I thought, okay, let me take advantage of all these countries I have been to and set my stories in different locations. So these are nine stories, and some of them are set in uh,
London, Japan.
familiar locations. So, but there are other unfamiliar locations for many of my readers. So there's a story in Japan, Tokyo. There is a story in London. There is one in Kathmandu. There is in Delhi. So, and I also thought that I could make it more interesting. There's one in Beijing also. That let me just not have Indian characters. Let me have multinational characters. So, so the locations are global, and the characters are also different nationalities. There's a Chinese, there's a Thai woman, there are Nepali characters,
Wow.
there are English characters. So I think that this collection of short stories is different from other collections in these two ways that, for one thing, different locations, but they are authentic locations because I have been to all these countries. And the characters are also authentic because while working for the UN, since it's a multinational organization, you meet so many different nationalities and you realize how cultures are different, how sometimes cultures clash. So there is a clash of cultures. For example, in the lead story, Trading Flesh in Tokyo,
Yes.
where an Indian American falls in love with a young Japanese girl. So that's a bit about how I came to write these stories. Then.
Wow, that's wonderful, I must say, because it's not just the nine stories and the nine locations which you have selected. As you said, you like to travel, you like to explore, and like to improvise yourself. So it seems that there are more and more and more stories in your mind, which in future will be in our hands and we will be discussing soon.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope so. I hope so.
Yes, because this nine were not enough for us for the cup of plate from author Rajesh. We need more from you.
Well, I hope so. And also, I have never written a travelogue till now. I
Yeah,
realized that so I'm hoping to remedy that. So in the next couple of books, we'll have a travelogue where I visit different countries and talk about my experiences there.
yes,
So uh, I think just like when I was a lawyer, I used to get bored with the law practice, routine law practice.
correct.
Same old drafting, किसी के वसीयत बनाना है, किसी के प्रॉपर्टी का झगड़ा है, किसी का डिवोर्स है. So those things they used to become very routine. And then I thought, how do I get out of this routine? And I thought maybe I should join a multinational organization. So then I made up my mind, let me try for the United Nations. And I was lucky enough to succeed. And I was very happy because there was so much variety in the work. So as a writer also, I like to challenge myself. Uh, there are some writers who stick to one genre. So good luck to them. And each person is different.
Yes,
But for me, I like to do different things.
yes. You should keep on doing different things, so that viewers keep on enjoying, what comes in plate from author Rajesh. It's not just one genre, but yes, different genre with different spices.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. So, coming back to your short stories, play we will discuss later on because it's, very different, very, unique play which each and every one would like to discuss about it because that was the time when people had faced a lot. So, I'll not disclose the name of that play right now. When we'll discuss it, that time you will hear from author Rajesh. So yes, the first one which I liked the most and which took away all the things from the play, the short story, which was the end of an English friendship. I've also seen in many of your Amazon reviews, many of the reviewers have basically liked this short story. So please tell us something about this short story.
Well, thank you, Tanmeen. I think the story talks about the fragility of human relationships, how long friendships can break up due to seemingly small issues, seemingly minor disagreements, how it takes work to maintain a relationship. And I'm sure You yourself have experienced that, Tanmeen, in your own relationships with friends and even with relatives.
Yes, it does happen because unless and until there is trust in any relationship, maybe it's friendship or anything, as such, we are talking about friendship over here. So there needs to be certain trust, and which is not there. If it's lost, then it's been broken.
Yes, absolutely. I think also trust and mutual respect, uh, because although friendship is partly about having the freedom to disrespect somebody, that you say, you're my friend, I can call you, I can abuse you, I can say anything I like because
Yes,
you're my friend. That is true. But the reverse is also true, that you should not cross a line. Is you can abuse your friend, but then you have to respect him at the same time, and he should respect you.
agreed. Totally agreed with that. I will come up again with, the one which you said earlier, Trading Flesh in Tokyo, which is, the title of the book given. So before I go to the story, why you chose the short story name for the title of the book?
Okay, well, I spend a lot of time choosing my book titles. In fact, a good friend of mine, she wrote a book which she spent 7 years
Oh,
writing, and it was a very good book, but she chose a very bad title.
okay,
I tried to explain to her that firstly, you should choose a title because we are living in an internet age.
correct.
Everybody is going to Google your title. And if the Google should show up something unique.
Hmm.
Now, for example, if I had taken the title Trading Flesh in Tokyo, then Google will throw up so many. If I had taken Flesh Trade in Tokyo,
Yes,
Flesh Trade in Tokyo is a kind of routine title. And also, the story is not about flesh trade, so I
yes,
didn't want to use flesh trade because the story is very different.
different, yes,
Uh, so I wanted a title where if you Google, nothing else will come up. Uh, and this friend of mine about whom I was telling you, she wrote this excellent book, but she chose a very generic title. So if you type her title, then so many other options will show up. So you
correct.
need something unique, something which a title which nobody else can has used and nobody else which does not resemble any generic titles. So so I thought let's give it a bit of a twist. Uh, and of course, some people bought the book thinking that it is flesh trade in Tokyo, and they thought that they've heard about flesh trade in Thailand, but not in Tokyo.
Yes,
But many people realized that there is something tricky here. What is he trying to say? But I found the response when I circulated various optional titles between my friends. They said, this is different. Go with it.
yes.
So that's how it came.
And yes, the cover picture also, it resembles the girl, a Japanese girl, and you have also given that Indian touch. She's wearing the, that what we say, bindi here. If everyone
Uh,
can see, it's here. So, different states you have put up in the book, which is collected in this, image over here, which shows, yes, there are different cultures and all, but we imbibe and still we are together. So that's what which come up with the covers of the page.
yes, that reminds me that there are two people I think I have to send the copy to. The deputy Swiss ambassador
Okay.
is a friend of mine whom I met a year ago, and he happens to have a Japanese wife.
Oh,
So, so I said I have to send him a copy. I just haven't got around to sending it to him. And the other person I should probably send it to is our External Affairs Minister Jay Shankar,
okay.
because his wife is also Japanese. So they may find it more interesting, and their wives will find it more interesting. So That's just a thought.
Yes, but it's really nice and good one, I must say. Coming back to the story, trading flesh in Tokyo. Like Sir said, it is not about the trading flesh thing. It is, about an American Indian publishing executive who gets entangled in a complex relationship with a young Japanese girl. And, further issues and challenges come up, and many expectations, societal expectations, different things they come up. So yes, cross cultural dynamics are there, which is shown in this story here. So further, I would like to tell Sir that please tell few things about the story.
About the other stories?
The same one,
Uh,
Trading Flesh in Tokyo.
okay. Okay. Well, Trading Flesh in Tokyo is a futuristic kind of a tale because it involves a relationship where the man does not realize the man is a bit fat, but he doesn't realize that in another culture, in India, we accept somebody, अरे लड़की थोड़ी healthy है, लड़का थोड़ा healthy है. We accept it. But this Japanese girl, she says, I like you very much. I'm happy to marry you, but I just find fat ugly. So you have to put in your mouth whatever I tell you. You have to eat. Can you do that? So they find a resolution, but I don't want to put any spoilers here for your readers who haven't read the book and are planning
Yes,
to. So the solution they find eventually is very different from what you would expect.
totally
And
agree.
it has something to do with the title.
Yes. Because there are many titles in the book which you will really get confused when you are reading, like Sex in the City. So it is not city, it is SEETY, where Raju, a small town boy, befriends an English girl. And yes, etc., etc. I don't want to be a spoiler again here. You'll have to grab your copies for that. There are different things, stories. The Stars Are My Witnesses, The Prince of Revolution, various locations, Delhi, Mumbai, London, Tokyo, different things are there which are, set up here in the book. So yes, like two fingers entwined, the same way here a short story name is there. You need to entwine your mobile phone, open it and go back to your Amazon account and order the copy here, because I and Rajesh will not be a spoiler and speak up everything which is there in the book. So I'll come back to the last part, which is the play, which was really an interesting one. It's how Madame Corona was introduced to the world. So, how did you come up at the end with this play?
Uh, that's interesting, Tanmeen, because, Corona had a strange epidemiology. At one point of time, it was targeting the adults, but sparing the children. There were other also features about Corona which were special. So it's not like, for example, measles, where you come out in spots, or chicken pox, where it's visible on your face, or polio, where, one of your physical organs is affected. Corona, you could not identify. The symptoms were also so varied. Somebody was having headaches, somebody was having fever, somebody was coughing. So it could be confused with flu. It could be confused with many other. And I thought that illness that is so subtle, it can only be feminine. And of course, the illness was especially kind towards young children. And then also it struck me that this virus, whatever it is, it's feminine. But of course, the female is the more deadly of the species. So it doesn't mean that just because it's feminine, it should be softer, but maybe it was more kind to children. So, so there is an emperor of maladies who commissions Madame Corona to go out into the world and teach the world that they have to treat our planet better. These days, there's a lot of climate fiction which is coming up. Before we used to have sci-fi, science fiction. Now we have cli-fi, which is climate fiction. So
Correct.
you could say, in a way, that this play falls within the genre of climate fiction, cli-fi, that we are destroying our planet. We are not treating animals with respect. We are creating an opportunity for these different diseases to come and attack us. And are we learning our lesson? Have we learned our lesson with Corona, or is there going to be a repeat? So all kinds of, these questions. So I have created some characters. These are non-human characters.
Yes.
Uh, I think the readers will enjoy it. There are references to popular culture. For example, there are references to James Bond and comparisons with Madame Corona.
Yes.
Uh, I hope people enjoy it.
Yes, and the way, I'd not reveal everything about the characters, but I would like to reveal only about what you had, described about when Madame Corona she enters, a tall, impressive personality dressed in dark robes. So, each and every character is described very well, may it be the play or may it be all these nine stories. Each and every one has done very best, and the stories are dwelling into the depths of human emotions and experiences. So you will have to go and grab these copies to understand what we like to share with you. Because here we will just share what we have read and what you would like to experience throughout it. But when Sir was writing it, it was a total different way, because authors, they step into the shoes of each and every character. And that's what which is seen in all the different characters from different countries, what Sir has shown over here. So, Rajesh, how was your experience throughout writing this book? Different stories. You said I have been traveling throughout, and these are all the things which came up in my mind throughout my traveling journey. How did you recall all these stories? The characters, are they fictional or non-fictional?
Well, I'd like to mention two or three things here. Firstly, maybe I'll just speak a bit about Sex and the City.
Yes, okay.
So, I have seen the serial, a very popular serial, American Sex and the City, and it was at one time a very big hit.
Yes.
And of course, again, I thought, let me have a unique title. So this is not Sex and the City spelled City, but instead of the C, there is an
S
S,
double E T Y.
Eetyct. So the CT meaning the whistle.
Yes.
And it's a story of a relationship between a white English woman who is a horse rider, who comes across Raju in a cinema hall and hears him whistling.
Yes.
And she says, can you teach me some whistles? Because I work with horses and I need different whistles so that the horses will know how to behave according to each whistle. So they start exchanging expertise. I won't tell you more about the story, but even when I write a story like this, I try to be respectful of women because I think that's important. Uh, and so, although the story might have some titillating aspects to it, it is nonetheless, I think, without any falsehood creeping into the characters, it is quite respectful of women
Yes.
and of relationships. So that's a bit about that story. As far as remembering things are concerned, if you ask me, Tanmeen, uh, what I was eating last night, I might forget and say, oh, did I have dal or did I have tandoori chicken? Was that the day before? But something which you might have said to me when we first met or we were first introduced, maybe 2 years ago, you said something and even you forgot that you had sent it to me, but
Correct.
I will remember. So writers remember things. I remember things, events people said to me 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But today morning, uh, what I ate for breakfast, or whether I had coffee or tea, I might forget that.
That's really nice. So it seems that these nine stories are just the start, and we'll come up with more, you will come up with more and more such books in future, so that we'll get more stories to know which you have visited to the different places. So keep writing such stories and bring it front of the viewers. And like you were telling about Sex in the City, the way you have described each and everything very minutely in the story here is I would be unable to describe to the people over here. When you read it, many things are there. Like Raju, when he's teaching about the whistling, the tongue folding, or the lower regions and all, then about the Punjabi woman, maybe many other Pappu, many characters are also there in this story. So without revealing everything, because sir will say that now don't be a spoiler. Because I love books from Rajesh so much that I feel like sharing everything to the viewers here. But it's also very important that viewers should go and personally read the book and experience what is there in that, because everyone's perceptions are totally different when they read the book. So it was a really lovely time reading this book, getting it and holding it in my hand. So when can we expect your next book, and which is the genre which is coming up?
Well, I'm thinking between two books. It's a toss-up, either a fiction or a non-fiction. Uh, and the non-fiction, if it is there, will be a travelogue, possibly. Uh, but there is also a book on my experiences with different universities.
Okay.
So that is also pending. But the travel book is about travel to 8 nations in Asia. Uh, and it has a working title of Where the Elephant Danced and Where the Dragon Flew.
Oh,
So the dragon is China and the
yes,
elephant is India.
yes.
And all these nations have been under the influence of both India and China. So hopefully we'll meet up again soon to discuss that.
Very soon, yes. So fingers crossed and waiting for that. Wish you all the very best for your upcoming books and whichever books you have written so far. So viewers, last but not the least, I would like to tell the book Trading Flesh in Tokyo is, very appealing to those who enjoy diverse narratives that explore the complexities of human nature, relationships, and social dynamics. So please go and grab your copies. It's available in Amazon and in Kindle. So you can leave your reviews, may it be positive or negative, all are welcome. So Rajesh, before winding up, would you like to say anything to the viewers?
Well, I would say that uh, please do read the book and do read uh, in general, because one thing I find is that reading is very therapeutic for me, at least. I limit my, because these days, at least say Tanmeen and I are having a proper conversation, but these days, the new generation, the WhatsApp generation, they just listen for 1 minute and then they move on to listen to a 1 minute for something else. And that is not, I think, good for the mind at some level. So reading a book, uh, even if it's not my book, reading culture is very important
Yes,
because it's very therapeutic. Uh, and I think you should teach your children also to read, which I know Tanmeen does with her children.
yes.
And well, that's about it from my side, really.
Okay, sir. So last but not the least, one punchline by author Rajesh Talwar.
Okay. Well, I would say uh, the stories in this collection are about the universality of human experience. Uh, so you might find that even a Chinese billionaire is not so different
Yes,
from how you are, or a Thai lady, an Indian woman may feel that I would have reacted the same way. So although we are different nationalities, different ethnicities, different castes, different religions, but we all have the same humanity. And I hope that these stories encapsulate uh, the same human conflicts, desires, passions, that we are all one Homo sapien. That would be my takeaway.
so thank you so much, sir, for that. And thank you to everyone I would be, posting this on my Instagram and YouTube as well. So you'll get the link. So please leave your comments below. And it was a lovely time hosting you, Rajesh. Every time we meet up.
Lovely, lovely being with you, Tanmeen. And I know that this is a virtual background, but I know that you are also in an island which has an even more beautiful background. Maybe. But it's not possible for you to
Yes.
maybe sit in the open air
Yeah, there will be
for
many voice
connectivity.
distractions and we would be unable to carry our session. But surely someday I'll go live and put up a reel of that. So yes, I'll really do that. And thank you so much, Rajesh, for being here this Sunday morning. It's always a pleasure to interview and to host you. Looking forward for more such sessions in future. Thank you so much and have a lovely day.
And you, Tanmeen, likewise. And I wish your followers also a good time and may they grow in strength and may you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, which I'm sure your family is saying, okay, Tanmeen, now you finish this interview, join us for lunch. And yeah, so I will also go and eat something. Have a lovely day, Tanmeen.
You too, sir. You too, Rajesh. Thank you so much.